Okay, so we're going to be looking at trig, addition formula and equations. So some key things from National 5 we need to know. So we need to know our sine graph and our cosine graph off by heart. Tan graph as well, but it's not as important for this particular topic, but still be aware of what your tan graph looks like. Obviously, we need to know the kind of key facts, so where it cuts the x-axis, where it's got its maximum, where it's got its minimum. We know it goes between 1 and -1, and obviously your period repeats after 360 degrees. So we're going to start off looking at trig graphs, be a bit of a recap from Nat 5. So we've got, for this example here, the first one is sine and the second one is cos, and we need to figure out what A, B and C are. Now in Nat 5, obviously quite often just asked you for 2 values, and higher you tend to get 3. It can be easier actually to get B first, because A and C are connected because they're both to do with the vertical, whereas B is just to do with the number of waves, the horizontal. So I quite like to get B first, and then we can figure out A and C afterwards. So we can see we've got a sine graph. We can see it ends at 2 pi, which remember is 360 degrees. So in fact, we've only got one wave. Okay, we've only got one wave between 0 and 360 or 0 and 2 pi. What we have for A and B. So the best way to figure out A, first of all, is to look at how far apart these two are. So between 3 and -1, they are 4 apart. So if we think about a normal sine graph, okay, a normal sine graph looks like this. It goes between 1 and -1, so they are 2 apart. Okay, so a normal sine graph is normally 2 apart. These are actually 3 apart, so that means the graph has been multiplied by 2. Okay, so between 1 and -1, its amplitude is obviously 1 from the x-axis to the height, but this one, if you go from the kind of middle point to there, obviously the difference is 2. So it's been multiplied by 2 basically, but I like to think of it as between 1 and -1, and what's the difference here? For C, so if it's going between 4, if it's been times by 2, okay, let's think about what that means. That means it should have a height of 2 and -2. Okay, if it's multiplied by 2, it should have a height of 2 and -2, but this one's got a height of 3 and -1. So what's happened is been moved up 1 place. So C is 1. So we actually have the graph of y equals 2 sine x plus 1. Okay, we're going to do a similar thing here. So A, B, C. So pi over 3, I mean, obviously it's good to think in degrees. I think it's always slightly easier. So pi is 180, remember? So that is going to be 180 over 3, which is 60. So we have one wave going up to 60 degrees. So we're trying to think about how many we're going to fit in. A nice easy way to figure it out is just divide that by 60, which tells you 6. So B must be 6. Looking at A and C, so the graph has not been moved up or down. Okay, it's just gone between 2 and -2. So A must just be 2. And then C is just 0. Okay, it's not been moved up or down. So we have y equals 2 cos 6x. And that's us.